what color you think she is?
She don't give a fuck whether you fight or not. You're gonna throw punches then. But don't take 30 seconds to throw another punch. I'm telling you. My style's ferocious.
With color you ferocious.
I wanted his children. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. Oh, look at that. Look at that combination. Oh, and there goes Arturo Gatti. I kept telling you, he had no punch. He couldn't hit. He's swinging like a sissy. He's missing. Let me see a box. I hadn't even started dancing yet. Oh, and there goes Hearns. Hearns is hurt. Oh, now look at Hagler. He's hurt. Wow, what a tremendous round. Probably one of the best rounds in middleweight history. Hey, that black guy, he hits hard. The hands of fire. I think I nailed that.
Yeah. That was perfect.
I think I did a pretty good job there.
It was very good.
There's improvised version of the original Hands of Fire boxing talk intro. Kind of can't be matched, can't be really compared. But if that's not one of the best knockoffs, Kids Bop version I've ever heard. I mean, that's about right. It's about that's the Kids Bop version of the original Hands of Fire boxing talk intro.
Yeah, that's the PBS version of it. They just pull the curse words out.
Well, damn. No, well, look, I already cussed, but I wouldn't be able to really make a good edited version of that. Besides the point, we're deflecting from the issue here. Big news week for everybody that's not watching right now. That'll be watching later, it seems like. Andre Ward, Sergey Kovalev. The rematch is going down June 17th, Mandalay Bay Event Center.
Fuck yeah.
A properly titled No Excuses.
No excuses, bitch.
No excuses.
Son of judges.
Yeah. So
I wonder, is that really Sergey that comes up with all these fucking nicknames? Because he doesn't strike me as a guy with a very good sense of humor. But he got some good ass nicknames.
Well, you know, I'm pretty sure. The funny thing is, they do, like, Russians do tend to seem pretty, like, stale people, but kind of like, and I don't want to seem racist for anyone that's watching this later on, but kind of like Asians are when they're, like, you know, very clingy people and they're always, like, together laughing and shit or doing whatever. Russians are kind of like the same way too. So, but they'll, like, openly make racist jokes to you right in your face. So, I mean, at least they had the heart to do that.
In Russia, it's not racist.
Okay, it's funny. Okay, look at you. You're bound to run because you're a monkey. Okay, I get it. Yes.
Very funny. I am Sergey.
You have baboon-like animal instincts. You know, you're naturally a wild man. I understand.
I look like Arthur Betterbeef in these slides, but Arthur Betterbeef is a very nice guy. If you go to his Instagram, he smiles a lot. He's a very nice guy.
I am balding Betterbeef.
Bald?
I am a balding Betterbeef.
I let my hair grow a lot so that you can come into that way no one knows.
All right. I'm sure people are mad that we're, like, clowning him. But we did, to be fair, we did make fun of Andre Ward's back patch failed attempt of a mohawk just before we went live. So I think that makes it should be mentioned that we did talk about that terrible back patch, and let's just hope he gets the rest of those, you know, the sides, you know, to match the mohawk.
Yeah, if you go get a fucking fade, man. Cut that half a mullet shit out, because that's what it looked like.
Yo, for real. It looked like how are you faded up on the front and then just was like, oh, I'm gonna get a natural grown Caesar in the back. The whole back just looks like
that shit. Spence had that shit in the Bundu in the Algeria fight. He had that shag. I'm like, what the fuck?
Nah, see, he had that doughboy that little puff in the, like that you would have under a cap that you would wear in the baseball cap. That's what he had.
Yeah, like you could tell when you left New York City because the haircuts they just get weird, dog. Like dog, just get a fucking fade, man. Or just get a Caesar. Why? What is all this bullshit?
What is this shit?
The fuck is this?
Terrible shit, man. It's like, I don't know, but you know what?
Shane got rid of the Jerry curl, so that's a plus.
Hey, man.
He got rid of the.
And there's still dudes in Puerto Rico, man, that are rocking that shitty ass back patch too, man. So I'm not even. Yeah.
They jump on all the dumbass American styles.
That was very stupid. But anyway, speaking of American styles, Andre Ward is now the champion here in this situation here of this rematch that's now going to be going down, like I said, June 17th, Saturday. The press conference, the 3-city press conference tour will start on April 10th. We'll be doing a 3-city press conference tour, New York City, Los Angeles, and the Bay Area.
The Bay
Area. They might as well just say Oakland.
Yeah.
I don't know why that they thinking if things get funny, they're just going to take it to San Francisco. Right. It's a little rough today. Sorry, SOG. Not today.
OG, man.
So now the total role reversal here, as far as roles and just positions, pretty much with the negotiations for this fight. Andre Ward, now the champion. He seemed to be a little bit more perceived as the favorite, and I don't think he necessarily got the proverbial B-side or A-side treatment. I felt like this was probably one of the most neutrally signed deals, other than the fact that he's fighting in his home area, which, Kovalev, it's not like Kovalev and Kathy Duba didn't have a say in this, so it really shouldn't be part of the discussion. But it's the first part, the first fight, I think was a more neutral based negotiated fight.
More or less. I mean,
just considering the fact that you had Kovalev, who was the champion at his natural weight, Andre Ward, who's perceivably the better skilled fighter if weight didn't mean anything, moving up, but not necessarily a crowd drawing favorite to make him above and beyond A-side. So that's what I mean. It kind of leveled out in a way.
That's the curious case of Andre Ward, man. Andre Ward is, to me at least, he's one of the most skilled fighters out there, but he's always overshadowed by everything else that's going on. In the midst of the fight leading up to Kovalev, motherfuckers was still on the threads talking about Canelo and Triple G. He's always overshadowed by something. You know what I mean? He was overshadowed by Floyd when Floyd was active, and now he's overshadowed by all the other politics in boxing. At least a bit.
I don't think it's
not that people don't like Andre Ward, though. It's not that they don't like him. It's that he's not very interesting. As far as he's a nice guy. He's a good guy. He's just not a very charismatic guy.
Yeah.
He's not a villain. He's kind of a hero. I heard somebody call you. Yo, he's kind of a hero, but he's not very he's not a, I would say, a very eccentric character. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a Klitschko. He's a good champion. He's a good guy, very respectable, upstanding guy, but he doesn't really show a hell of a lot of personality.
And I think that's kind of like a thing that kind of makes him a drawing character in a way for certain people, is the fact that he's not so braggadocious, but at the same time it hurts him. But that's what kind of gets me frustrated in this whole ordeal, is because I feel like people used to always say with Floyd Mayweather that you needed to be a braggadocious, egotistical, villainized character to be somebody. But I always felt like that takes away from what you actually do in the ring. And then, once you become such a big draw for whatever you do outside, no one's actually watching you to do what you do on the inside, which actually Andre Ward is rather good in what he's doing on the inside.
we know that that's not true because of Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya wasn't ever the villain. When was he the villain? You know, he was still a pay-per-view star, but he was never the villain. You know what I mean? So without opening the can of worms, I'm gonna just say they want certain guys to be the villain. You know what I mean? Just remember, Denzel didn't get an Oscar until he played the villain. That's all I'm gonna say about that shit.
Yeah. Well, either way, we are here now, and this fight was negotiated, I guess, right on cue. It wasn't necessarily too quick. I mean, this November to June, I think that's a good 7 months. And actually maybe even 8.
Yeah, almost a year.
Yeah. So a good amount of time. I mean, and then even the funniest thing about it is that there were still people who didn't think that this fight was going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was undeniable with everything that was demanding and what was in question with this fight. It would only be right that this fight would get a rematch. And I mean, just
he was obligated. He was obligated to do this shit.
yeah.
That's why I didn't. In spite of all that retirement shit, I'm like, he's not gonna let them sue him. You know what I mean? If he don't get this man that fight, he gonna get sued. So I mean, the fight gonna happen. You know what I mean? In spite of all the headlines and shit. You know what I mean? Like, oh, Ward's talking about retiring. Yeah, I get that, but for all I know, that's a tactic. I don't know if he's really serious.
I don't know about tactics. I feel like maybe sometimes we might have just looked into certain actions too much. I feel like he actually might have been considering retiring because I don't see what that would actually do to your negotiations. There already was a rematch clause anyway.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just think that at this point now, Andre Ward has probably for the first time something that he can build upon with the public. As
Mm-hmm.
far as you have now you have a hotly contested fight, like a debatable one.
Mm-hmm.
Now's the time to really prove everybody wrong with what they thought the first time,
Yeah.
or or really just prove those same people right, which
Yeah. I
is a
mean,
little sketchy thing.
things have come center stage for Ward because he doesn't necessarily look as sharp as he used to. I mean, he might have lost half a step. You know what I mean? Or maybe Sergey's just that good. It could be either one. But this gives people a reason to really pay attention to what Ward is doing and what's going on with him. Because before and even now, he's still not at the forefront of boxing conversations. It's still all about who and who. But this is definitely getting Ward a lot of press. You know what I mean? He's been in the news a lot. It to me is a good fight. I don't know what motherfuckers is complaining about talking about Ward was clinching like dog. It's plenty of times Kovalev was clinching in that fight. Motherfuckers see what they want to see. I don't even understand shit like that. That's like a brain disorder or something where you can't see what the fuck is actually going on in the fight. Like, dog, like what fight are you watching, dog? What fight are you watching?
So, I mean, how do you see this coming out now? The fight's now in motion now. The press conferences are going to start soon. Camp should be beginning within a matter of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Kovalev is talking a little bit more than ever.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean,
Andre Ward is kind of, playing the backseat role.
per usual.
So I mean, how does this play out? These guys are more familiar now. Kovalev knows he can get to Ward. Ward now knows that he can actually affect, Kovalev systematically, not
Mm-hmm.
one shot. But he knows that he can do damage if he puts in the time. So, um, who is more likely to do the most with what they know now?
All right. Honestly, and I think people don't like when you come to a conclusion too soon or too easily. But the thing about it is, I'm looking at right now because this all we really have to look at is the demeanor of both fighters. You know, Ward is still in his same area. He's still characteristically Andre Ward. Sergey Kovalev, however, he's eager. He wants this fight. He want to put him out. He's saying he want to knock him out. You know what they say about when a guy goes into a fight looking for the knockout. Now, I'm not saying that Andre Ward can knock him out, but I'm saying that he can exploit overzealousness in Sergey Kovalev. And if Sergey goes in there with the notion that, oh, I put him on his ass before, all I got to do is do it again, it's easier said than done. If Kovalev sticks to the plan that he had before, he has a better chance of winning that fight. But if he makes any alterations to that plan, I don't see him winning that fight. There's no way to know right now which Sergey Kovalev is going to show up, if he's going to be different. Sergey Kovalev never really gave us a reason to doubt him. You know what I mean? This is all speculatory based on the shit that he popping. But if he go in there acting crazy, being careless, you know, trying to out-muscle Ward as opposed to out-hustling him, he might lose that fight again.
See, and that's where I feel like we left off discussing this fight. We were pretty much talking about how Kovalev really didn't do anything wrong in his approach, or at least how he handled the fight. But like you said, something to obviously look out for is not going for the knockout.
Yeah,
because you can sense that, and that's such probably the most telegraphed game plan to go with. I feel like and everybody could just see that coming. If you like, here's the guy who feels hard done by the decision, and now he's going to take care of it into his own hands. Like,
I mean, look, it's possible. The reason that is possible is because look at the Marquez fight. Marquez felt he won that third. I mean, he felt he won that third fight. He went into the fourth fight with the feeling of, I'm not going to leave this to the judges. I'm going to put him out. Needless to say, we know how it all turned out in the fourth fight. It's conceivable that Ward could lose this fight, and that's what the thing that I don't like about a lot of fight fans is they act like Ward is a shoo-in. Ward is not a shoo-in to win this fight, dog. He wasn't a shoo-in to win the first fight, if that's what you thought. You know what I mean? He wasn't a shoo-in. I picked him to win via unanimous decision, but you can't sleep on Sergey. Sergey is not a moron. Sergey is a pretty goddamn good fighter if you don't know. And I think that's one of those things when it comes to boxing that I think motherfuckers don't really do their homework on an opponent, because it's just like the Danny Jacobs fight. It's like everybody just now realized, yeah, Jacobs is a threat, dog. You didn't know that? He's a threat, dog. Like, you didn't know that leading up to the fight, that he stands a legitimate. You didn't hear me say this 20 times. He's a legitimate threat. Yeah, he could fight. He might beat Chinny. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But regardless of that, he still got power. Fight. And I look at Sergey in that same scope that, yeah, Andre Ward is a top pound-for-pound fighter, one of the most skillful guys around, but that doesn't make him a shoo-in to win the fight. All in all, it could still be a difficult fight. It all rests on what Sergey's intentions are on the night of the fight.
And if he is hell-bent on giving a systematic ass whooping, then he's right on target.
Yeah.
Because, and I mentioned this on Ring IQ group, and I think I actually first mentioned it on the pod here, is that he will win this fight only if what he does different in this fight is initiate a body attack of his own.
Yeah, because Ward ain't gonna see that.
Exactly, but then you also just think about it. That's always been the go-to to stop usually the boxer. You know what I mean? If you're the pressuring fighter, even though that's not always going to be the role, because Andre Ward is kind of the special boxer to not always follow that mold. But that's why. No, go ahead.
They want to put up the archetypes, where Sergey's just a dumb bruiser and Ward is the pure boxer, and it's not that simple.
No, and the funny thing is in deep analyzation of what we were basically doing, like film study in a way for this first fight, was that I told people, and it seemed like they were like shocked, is that Ward isn't actually the best fighter backing up. Like the worst thing you could actually do is to have him backing up
Mm-hmm.
because he doesn't fight off the back foot. He's not that type of boxer. You know, he's a
No,
ring
he's not.
general. He's a ring general. You know what I mean? Which
And
means
that's
at
what
times
it's
he's
to
better
be.
off going forward.
Yeah.
You know, taking the lead. And when I mentioned a body attack being the key for Sergey Kovalev to win this rematch, Ibn, who is not on, hopefully can join us at some time later on. Um, excuse me, had mentioned that, oh, well, you know, if he does that, that means he's going to have to be reckless to get there and also open for other shots. And yes, of course, if you stay too centered to the body, or at least too focused on a body attack, you are primed for anything, really, once you're there for a while. But
Mm-hmm.
he's a systematic puncher, and he's not the type to guy. He's not a type to throw combinations like that. So they will for sure have some type of feeling throughout the fight. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
a nice little 1-2 or a nice right right hook to the body or a left hook to the body, and then just continuously going on and on and on. And plus, he's the power puncher. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
he's more likely to have that one shot to do something to the body. And even if, you know, damage is on the mind, knocking him out with a body shot shouldn't be the focus. It should just have something to give him. It should just be something to have him think about throughout the fight. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The same way he had Kovalev hurling over, looking like a barrel of shrimp, in
Mm-hmm.
the like in the 12th round. I mean, that guy was curled up like a cheese puff
Yeah, he was.
by the
That's when
12th
I
round.
mean the body attack got to him by then. It didn't really start taking effect until the later rounds because Ward started going there. I'd say I think it was the mid portion of the fight, but you didn't really see Sergey grimacing. You know, like that it's affecting him, it's bothering him till later on. All in
Yeah.
all, I think that that is something that he's gonna look out for. And just like you said on the other pod, that was experimental, man. That shit was some real in the moment type shit.
Mm-hmm.
Ward couldn't be regular old Ward that plays you kind of close to the chest and works you from the inside out. I don't know what Ward plans on doing in this fight that he didn't do in the first fight to make this a more decisive victory. The only way I see Ward having a more decisive victory than he did in the first fight is if Sergey's fucking up. If Sergey's fucking up, then Ward will have a better fight.
And he would also have to find something to defend from Ward's body attack initially. Basically, at least have something, uh, you know, in the holster for when that jab to the body is coming. Which
Yeah.
is, I mean, it sounds, you know, it's easier said than done because, you know, jab to the body is probably one of the harder punches to actually counter. Um, but you know, we'll obviously discuss this fight more the closer it gets, as we do most fights. And with the closest fight, there's Vasyl Lomachenko versus Jason Sosa. That'll be taking place Saturday on HBO for Lomachenko's WBO Super Featherweight Championship. Um, nothing really newsworthy to come out of this fight. In all honesty, I mean, rather other than the fact that it's Lomachenko fighting,
Yeah.
you know, it's just him performing again.
Yeah, because
Jason's
we no, go ahead, go ahead.
well, no, you can go ahead.
No, I mean Jason Sosa, they settled on him because they went through a lot of other guys. They went to Salido. You know, they went to a lot of other guys. They for whatever reason they didn't want to take the fight, so they landed on Jason Sosa.
And
Shout out to Sosa for taking the fight. He took the fight. A fight. That's all I can say about that. I mean, I don't got Sosa winning the fight, obviously. Yeah, I mean, what the fuck can we say? Like it's Jason Sosa, the guy that for some odd reason the judges thought drew with Nicholas Waltz. Like, what can I say, fam? Like, Loma gonna whoop his ass. People gonna talk about it the next day. Who the fuck is edging Jason Sosa to win the fight?
His mama.
Right? Like his block.
Maybe. The block came through for the boy. Yeah, we feel you, Joseph. We with you, Joseph.
Yeah, like who got Jason winning? Like, I'm not saying he like it's simple. It's basically there's not a lot of intrigue in this fight. That's my feeling. It's not intriguing. It's boxing, so anything can happen. But leading up to the fight, I'm not particularly size. It's Jason Sosa, dog. Like, what am I going to say?
Well, I think the other thing to really talk about, other than, and I feel bad because it's like we're just combing right over Jason Sosa like a bald spot, but fucking let's just keep it centered because I heard an interesting conversation, and obviously now with Roman Gonzalez shocking defeat, and now that he is for many no longer the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. Now it's kind of open discussion for a lot of guys, and I figured that Andre Ward would be the consensus number 2 pound for pound fighter, and that's not as general as I thought it would be. I've heard numerous cases for a lot of fighters. And there's probably just one I could understand possibly that's not Andre Ward to be number 1 pound for pound. I've heard Gennady Golovkin be titled number 1 pound for pound. I've heard Sergey Kovalev number 1 pound for pound. But I've also actually heard Lomachenko as number 1 pound for pound.
Not yet.
And that's the one that I would actually not put up so much of a fight for. If you're going to debate that. And what makes this so hard though is, and here's where we have our differences. It's because for when it comes to describe the entitling the best fighter over in boxing, which is number 1 pound for pound status, obviously what we're talking about. I put a little bit more credence into the eye test. I know a lot of people go into stats and achievements and resumes and all that, but I kind of tend to go with what my eyes are telling me. Like, I know what I'm seeing. I know if also what I also play a part in my selection of number 1 pound for pound is just considering if weight didn't mean anything, how would a fight play out between Vasyl Lomachenko and Anthony Joshua? You know what I mean? And based off talent, though,
let's consider this for a second. I think it's premature. A lot of people are very excited about Vasyl Lomachenko, and he looked great against Nicholas Waltz. But when it comes to the eye test, it's like it's misleading. You know what I mean? The eye test will tell you something until he climb in there with a particular guy. You know, like seriously, like look at Triple G up until everything, and then he fights Danny Jacobs. Eye test will tell you that Triple G's better than Parag if you going off an eye test. But Parag got Danny out of there, and Triple G didn't. I mean, it's too contentious for me to go off of what you did to this guy, because this guy is not that guy.
But the funny thing about that is if you put attributes side by side, you could actually make an argument, and it's unfortunate because he's not here to actually put any credit or validity to my argument here. He fucking God, I just had his name. Jesus Christ. Help me out. The hell, we were just talking about him. He knocked out Danny Jacobs. Prague, yes.
Dmitry Prague?
Yeah. You could almost, for attributes, you could almost make an argument that he's better than Gennady Golovkin. And if he had, that's what I'm saying. He's not here now to, get put any validity to the point because he's obviously retired now and all that. But
yeah,
imagine what he would have done up to this point. That would have been one of the epic fights, and he probably would be on the victorious side, facing Golovkin.
I mean, that's the reason that's contentious to me, right? Is because at the end of the day, here's the reality that he not here. He not here. He had back problems or some shit like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like back problems. That's, if I look at that, that is just as much a part of your physical condition as anything else. You a guy that got back problems. That is going to affect your ability to perform. So I don't know. That's too much woulda, coulda, shoulda to me to say that. Oh, well, Dmitry Prague is in some ways better than Triple G. Nah, because he ain't here. If he better, then he be here.
All right. Well, how about this? How about at a point in time? Let's say, meaning at the night that Prague knocked out Danny Jacobs. What year was that? Was that 2000? Was that 2010? That
was a while ago because fucking Danny had cornrows, so that was a while ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, at that point in time, was he better than Gennady Golovkin? Or at least at that point in time, if you just freeze frame at that point to what he's doing to what Golovkin is doing now, I could say he was the maybe more versatile boxer. Obviously, I feel like that's kind of an easy one.
See, to me, that's like an argument for argument's sake. That's what it sounds like. It's an argument for argument's sake. That, let's entertain this for a second. Let's just try to do this retrospect. But to me, personally, it's closed and concise. If you were better, your physical condition, that includes your fucking back, is just as much a part of this conversation as anything else. So if you were better, you'd be better. But you're not better. You know why? Because you're not here. You're not here.
I'm glad we got all this on tape. Because you know what? Your son is going to be playing you one-on-one in basketball, and he's going to whoop your ass. And then you're going to tell him, "You man, listen, when I was your age, I would have whooped your ass." Well, now I got to put your condition in consideration. You're not that good now. You can't beat me.
Think about what you're saying that the Dmitry Prague that beat Daniel Jacobs, if you freeze framed him and took him out in 2017, that Dmitry Prague is going to beat Triple G. That's what you're saying.
All right. So if I didn't make that sound so crazy, what if I just threw out the fact that he ever had a back problem?
Well, I mean, but he does. That's the thing. You got to freestyle that. He does have a back problem.
But we didn't see that obviously affect him in the Jacobs fight. We know what he looks like without a back problem, so that's not so hard.
But we're talking about factual events. The way that it actually played out, you had to lead a sport of boxing because your back was fucking with you. So how could I say, even like, I'll go this far. Let's just freeze frame him. Let's take him. Let's put that Dmitry Prague in there with Gennady Golovkin today. I wouldn't bet against Golovkin. I wouldn't bet against Golovkin unless he's at 168. Then I might bet against him. Nobody at 160 that I've seen in the last 5, 6 years. I wouldn't bet on none of them guys to beat him. Shit, I don't even know if
now look. I feel like because I'm not even getting that extensive with the argument. My thing is there's certain things that I'm sure Prague is better at, or is better than Golovkin in different facets of his game, he's better at what he does specifically. Like I said, for those attributes, not overall, or rather, if he can beat him. But I'm sure there's things that he's better than with Golovkin.
Yeah, but I mean, I could tell you that there's things that David Lemieux's better at than Golovkin. I could tell you there's things that Daniel Jacobs is better at than Golovkin. That's just boxing. Everybody got strengths. Does that mean that if
but that's all I'm leaving it at. I'm not saying that I wasn't just making this argument just to say that he could beat Gennady Golovkin. I'm just saying that there's parts of Parag that makes him obviously the talent that he was, to put him over the top, to have him at an elite status for some point in time. That's where we can't just besmirk, because he did this. Now Golovkin had a little bit more trouble doing this, so now he's not as good. You know what I mean? Exactly.
Styles make fights though. Like, I mean, and that's across the fucking board. Like, just Styles make fights, dog. Look, Manny Pacquiao beat the holy hell out of Sugar Shane Mosley, right? He beat his ass. He beat the living shit out of Miguel Cotto. Canelo ain't beat the shit out of Cotto the way that Manny did. Manny's a smaller guy. It's the truth though, ain't it?
That's that ass whooping.
Manny fucked Cotto up, dog. Like, he fucked him up. Canelo, younger guy, bigger guy, arguably the bigger puncher. I'm not gonna get into that. But Canelo ain't fucked him up like that.
Preach.
Fights. Styles make fights. See, the way I look at it is, Cotto is probably trying to work off the counter. He's trying to box. Canelo is also working off the counter. He's trying to box. Stalemate. Now you got Manny that's faster than both. He's faster than both. So it's going to come down to, okay, can Manny beat Cotto to the punch? Yes, the fuck he can, because he fucking did. Styles make fights. Yeah. So if you're talking about, well, Parag does have certain facets in his game that are better, let's not say it's arguable, let's say they're better than what we see Triple G doing today. That's cool. And you might not have struggled with Danny the way that he did, but you and him is you and him and Danny is him and Danny. Styles make fights.
I forget how we even got to this. We were talking about Lomachenko.
When it comes to Lomachenko,
eye test. Was that what it was? I think eye test.
Lomachenko was because of the eye test. That you say that because of that eye test, you feel that there's credence in naming him the number one pound for pound fighter. And I go with show and prove. Fuck the eye test, fuck the bullshit, and fuck the rhetoric. It's going to come out. It's going to come out. I like the eye test to tell you a lot of things. And then the night of the fight, it's a lot of shit that you was waiting to see, and it's not there. Fuck all that. Then you going to show it. It's going to show up. So if Lomachenko has it in him to be the number one pound for pound fighter in the world, then it's going to happen. And if he don't, then it won't.
Well, you know how it is. You know how hipsters are, man.
Yeah.
They got to claim it first. You got to claim it first. You just got to claim it first. It's like, hey, look, I claimed him number one first.
I get it. I understand it. I'm just saying that to me, you got to show him. I could say that I think there's nobody out there that I would edge to beat Errol Spence in the welterweight division, right? I could say that. I could say that. I could go as far as saying maybe he's the best welterweight that's out there. Eye test, right? Because of what I'm seeing him do. But you doing that to them. You might not be able to do that to Brooke in that same fashion.
Oh, yeah. You give anybody the chance on a given night, they could do anything. But you see what you're in with. You add that to the equation. You add who this person is. You consider Lomachenko. Yes, he only has 7 fights. But you consider who he's fought in that time, how he's looked. I'm kind of privy to think that he might be top 4 pound for pound.
I don't know, because if we're gonna go for that, look, you used a triangle, and I'm not saying that you used the triangle theory, but you used a retrospect between how Parag did with Jacobs and how Golovkin did with Jacobs, right? How'd Mikey Garcia do it? Didn't he fight Salido? He fought Salido.
I think he did.
And he
Or
whooped his
was
ass.
it Martinez?
No, not Martinez. Was it Rocky Martinez? No. Rocky Martinez fought Salido. He fought Salido. Fought Salido, I think, too. And I think he whooped his ass. I gotta double check that. I wish I wasn't on my phone right now so I could check that. But I think he fought him and whooped his ass.
I'm on it now.
Check that shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this with my screen, and we're gonna go look up stuff.
Yeah. Now here's the focal point. If that's true, because I gotta cross-reference that shit. But if that's true, Mikey the number 1 pound for pound fighter? If you going off for shit like that, we could argue that, well, Vasyl Lomachenko, he was green, even in spite of his fucking amateur record, an amateur record that's better than 90% of the fucking guys that are out there. But at the end of the day, you lost to that guy, though, right? Mikey ain't. If Mikey did beat this guy, I gotta check it because I didn't see that fight.
Mikey did whoop that.
I didn't see that fight. He whooped his ass.
He whooped that ass.
Now, if you going off of that, then wouldn't that mean that you saying based on the platform that you laid out that Mikey Garcia is better than Lomachenko?
No, and I'll tell you why. Because based on that, you're almost giving, you're just branching out number 1 pound for pounds that way. You're going to get about 15 different outcomes on how this one guy is number 1 pound for pound.
But that's the platform you laid out. That's the when you brought up the Parag fight with Daniel Jacobs and the fact that Parag has facets in his game that are better than Golovkin's facets, and because of those facets, Parag didn't struggle with Danny the way that Golovkin did. The reason that argument don't work for me is because Danny's not the same fighter that he was then. He's better. He got better. You got to factor that in.
Yeah.
And then you factor intangibles like, well, Danny came in. God knows what he came in weighing. I'm not making excuses. It's just that, dog, it's a factor, though. He came in heavy. The fuck? You want me to ignore that?
Yeah, for sure. He definitely did.
I mean, he came in heavy. That's going to have an effect. So I'm not saying it to like, oh, well, Golovkin only, like, I'm not crying him a river. I'm just saying that, like, that's real shit, though. Like, that matters, dog. That does matter. I'm not going to ignore that. Are these the same circumstances that he fought Parag in? Is he the same fighter that he was when he fought Parag? Does he have Virgil Hunter in his camp telling him shit? You know what I'm saying? He had a whole village built around him for this Golovkin fight.
They sure did, man.
Taking group photos and shit like he about to go for the last ride.
Man, he looked like one of them African kids that was newly adopted by a white family by just how much support he had around him.
Yeah, he was like an Angelina Jolie kid.
Yeah. So much love and support. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for the love.
I told you got Chris Algieri in the kitchen making smoothies, dog. Virgil Hunter is TiVo and shit. He TiVo and Golovkin fights. This ain't going on. These are not the same circumstances that he fought Dmitry Parag in. So it's a lot of different shit. That's why I don't go by that. I go by, look, what did you do? All right, what did you do? And what did he do? How does what you did stack up compared to what he did?
All right, then you know what? I'll use that same method with you then. Because since Manny Pacquiao, who we considered his ass whooping more vicious than the one he suffered at the hands of Canelo Alvarez, couldn't you just say the same thing that maybe Canuto? Canuto. That's hilarious. All right. That Cotto became a different fighter, with Freddie Rhodes when he fought with Canelo Alvarez.
All right, and this is what I'm gonna tell you. That's only if you drunk the Kool-Aid. Look at who Cotto fought. If you drunk the Kool-Aid and you thought he's back, Cotto's back. If you thought that shit, you retarded. You retarded. Not you, but if anybody out there thought that Freddie Rhodes brought him back.
No, you're right though. You're right though, because there was a mass hysteria around this that, oh shit, Cotto's back. He's better than ever. He's stronger than ever.
Yeah, you got Delvin Rodriguez out of there in 3 rounds. Okay, and you fought Sergio Martinez with no legs. I have no legs. You fucking Daniel Gill.
I have no legs.
I have no legs. He fought Daniel Gill, who Gennady Golovkin turned into a taco a couple of fights before that. So what about that makes me feel that, yeah, he's back. Cotto's back. Like, nah, dog. Like, I didn't think that. The hope that I had for Cotto, because I was rooting for him to win, I'm not going to lie about it, was that maybe he could outbox Canelo. Maybe he could do that. Because he's not going to hurt him. You're not going to hurt him. You couldn't hurt Margarito. You're not going to hurt Canelo. That's out. But maybe you could outbox him. That didn't happen. Canelo's a good counterpuncher. He's got way more dimensions than fucking Margarito. He ain't just going to stand there and get punched in the face like Margarito. He flat on his feet, yeah. But Canelo has way better upper body movement than Margarito, dog. Margarito, all kinds of shots in that second installment to that fight. That's why he lost that fight. Because you don't got the good fucking sense to keep your eye out of his fist. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's simple shit. You walking through punches, he's punching you right in your fucking eye. Canelo ain't going to do that dumb shit.
No. And, damn. I always forget what the hell. I always have like something funny lined up and I forget it. Rats. Anyway. So yeah. Lomachenko, where is he at on your pound for pound ratings?
Loma is, I believe, I know I got him in the top 5. I believe the order is Andre Ward. Vasil's number 2. I got Vasil at number 2. I moved him ahead of Gennady Golovkin. I feel Vasil had a better showing in his last fight than Gennady had in his last fight. Vasil meets my criteria of, yo, you got to move up so I could see if you really like that, because you might be fucking up all these guys over here, but let's see if you can do that up there. Vasil Ben did that. You know what I'm saying? This guy only got a couple of fights, and he's whooping all kinds of ass. So I got him at number 2. But you got to remember that Chocolatito has, he's going to get his rematch. He's going to get it. And if he walks in there and he wipes his ass with Rumbasai, he might reappear in my top 5. It depends on how he wins. If he wins. Shit, if he wins.
Yeah, because, I mean, yeah, that was a rough fight.
Rough fight. A lot of
Very
punches
rough
got
fight.
in that fight.
Strong punches. I don't think people were really noticing the heft on those punches. I mean, you're like, like you just saw back of the head hair moving each time. Shit, every time something landed, man.
Motherfuckers was letting it go, man. They was letting it go. Now, I'm going to say, if Chocolatito wins a competitive fight, I'll have him reemerge in the top 5. If it's a good competitive fight, whatever the case. If he has a good showing where he just is in rare form for some reason, then he'll appear in the top 2. Ward's still going to be at number 1. Chocolatito has got to do something else to regain that number 1 spot. He might, if he has a fantastic fucking showing, then he'll appear at number 2. Vasil will get knocked down to number 3, Golovkin to number 4, Crawford to number 5.
And it's exciting times in boxing right now. I mean, you got, whether it was the fall of, Vladimir Klitschko, and now Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, which reign wasn't really that long, but it does. I feel like with him knocked down a notch, it kind of makes things a bit more interesting because the talent pool is rather close. There's not really one guy that just stands out. But I'm telling you, once he gets a few more meaningful fights under his belt, I'm telling you, by 15-1, Lomachenko is going to be standalone number 1 pound for pound fighter.
We'll see. You know what I mean? You got to remember who they matching him against, who they talking about matching him against.
Anybody that's anybody.
Listen, man.
The can man, American, African American,
listen,
Mexican.
Man. If he fights Mikey Garcia, if Mikey keep looking like this, if they make that fight, I might have to bet on Mikey, dog. Mikey is a real motherfucking guy, man. And he's very close to popping up on my pound for pound list. If he could
double the can man, the Mexican American.
He can do it. He could do it. You know what I'm saying? Loma.
Yeah, man, that fight is that's going to be a good fight. Yeah, that is going to be a good fight.
Dog, my eyes would explode. they would explode. Fucking crazy. Mikey Garcia, Vasil Lomachenko doing the dance. That shit is gonna be warfare if they ever make it.
All right.
Rigo. Oh yeah, let's
Picks.
move on. I don't even want to talk about Rigo. Let's move on.
Yeah, because we roasted that boy enough on the Rigo roast. That's
We gonna leave him alone for a little while.
yeah, man. He's a little crispy. No pun intended. I know that was a mean complexion joke. I take that back. Afro Cubanos. But anyway, so make your pick, man. I know you're going with Sosa. What round is it? What round is Lomachenko going down in?
I got Sosa winning this fight in the parking lot. While
You got him winning
everybody's
it.
their way to seats.
I got Sosa winning it by homicide.
Yeah, he got this shit, man. He got
Totally.
this shit.
All he's got to do, catch him while he's with his girl. It's a wrap.
Yeah, fire the spirit bomb. That always.
Oh man.
Sosa, we talking about Jason Sosa, son. Like you already know.
You know who it be.
You know who it be.
Anyway, I guess we're gonna wrap things up. That was pretty much it. And all this, just to throw it in there, I don't want to talk about this too much. Manny Pacquiao makes it official with Jeff Horn. That fight's official. It's gonna happen in Australia. Major Pacquiao fan. Most of you guys know I'm not defending this. I never wanted this fight, and I'm not going to defend this. But let him do it. I mean, what? I mean, the most that's going to happen, you're going to sit there and like, oh, why? You could fight who? Whatever. I'm not going to watch that shit. And you're going to watch that shit on Facebook that fucking day. So
yeah, I mean, honestly, like
whatever.
I've been saying, I'm not mad at Manny. I'm not mad at him. Okay, I'm not mad at him, but his fans talk so much shit. You got the precise presenter lying, the motherfuckers on YouTube talking about fucking Jeff Horn is that's not a mandatory, my guy. That is a hand-picked opponent. Okay, Manny has options,
but he's a mandatory.
The option he went with was fuck me, dog. Like don't fucking lie, dog. Don't lie. Don't lie.
But he's a mandatory.
It's okay. To me, at this point, it's okay if Manny do that. One more big fight. He's not just gonna leave ignominiously. He got one more big fight. I feel that he got one more big fight. I don't know who against.
But he's the greatest of all time.
He's a man. If you don't get the fuck out of here, that is the rematch pound for pound king, man. You could lose a thumb wrestling match with this guy, and Bob
you wish you could win as many rematches.
Bob is going to set up the Manny Pacquiao.
You're just mad because you never won that many rematches.
Fuck rematches, man. Well, what the fuck do I sound like saying that? I'm just saying, man. I like Manny. Well, not really, but I respect him as for what he is. He's a great fucking fighter. If you can't say that, then something wrong with you. Manny is a great fucking fighter, dog. I'm not a fan of him, but he's a great fucking fighter. If you don't like watching Manny Pacquiao fight, you need to just, I don't know. You need to just take up competitive guarding.
That's what I always said. And competitive guarding does get intense.
It does.
You see them. Listen, all it takes is that one spider to eat that tomato leaf, and it's a wrap.
Yeah, that is true. That does happen.
They do. Yeah, they really do like fuck up your whole garden.
They will fuck up a whole crop. All one spider, dog, fuck up a whole crop.
And just like Pactards, can't let just one ruin all the fan base of Manny Pacquiao.
And I don't think all of Manny Pacquiao's fans are as delusional as the ones centered in a particular region. What I don't like, and it's the same thing the Mayweather fans do, they do it too. They elevate this fighter into a realm that is very unrealistic. I believe Floyd is one of the greatest fighters that ever fought, but I do not for a second believe that he's the best ever. Okay? Get that bullshit the fuck out of here, okay? Floyd against Tommy Hearns, Floyd against Aaron Pryor. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't know.
I know.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
What? What you know?
It's a wrap.
Ew. Tommy Hearns at 147 was a lethal fucking guy, right?
Yeah.
But Tommy Hearns at 147 never fought nobody like Floyd, so you got to factor that in. The Floyd that was at 147 was a seasoned motherfucking vet, dog. That motherfucker done seen it all.
Wait a minute. He fought Ray Leonard at 147.
That's true. But it's right. No, yeah. You know, you're right. You're right.
So I mean, that's why, and considering that he was actually winning that fight before he fucking lost, and he really
he got
was just
clipped.
running out of gas. Yeah.
Well, he got fucking clipped because he was.
You know what? I feel like that was more at a. He was out of gas.
He got caught.
He was out of gas, and when you're out of gas, you get caught with stupid punches that you usually can block. And
yeah.
That in a way that's kind of plagued him a little bit, you know.
Well, not
conditioning in a way.
Think he was getting, I think he got caught because he was getting cute with Ray, because he was winning that fight.
Yeah, so he was one round away from winning it.
Winning that fight with Michael Moore winning that fight with George Foreman. He got cute. You ain't have to stand in front of that man. You didn't even have to do that. You got the fuck out.
Yeah, just like Jacobs, who was taunting after, you know, he got hit with one shot from Golovkin, and then all of a sudden he got hit with 3 shots, and then he really got fucking hurt.
Yeah, stop getting cute, man. Cut that shit out.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we're gonna leave it at that.
Floyd Mayweather's more skilled than Sugar Ray Leonard.
You know what? I'm not even gonna contest that too much. Because in a way, you're right.
Yes.
So, from myself and Julius and spiritually Ibn Daoud, your Ring IQ admins, it's gonna be so long, and I'd say keep an eye out for some videos on the feed. Basically, I think I got some live streaming in me tomorrow for sure on Ring IQ group. So I'll be there. I know that song. What song are you singing?
It's not just but a lesson learned in time.
Oh my God. Green Day. Anyway, that's it for myself. Julius, we're out of here. Peace.